Hi guys, it's Coach Rick Storlie, and today I'm going to share some tips on how to get in front of more qualified leads. Again, my name is Rick Storlie, and I help home builders and remodelers reach their sales goals. I've developed a 5-step sales system that generates a steady stream of new leads. It creates value through education. We employ cutting edge technology to identify the leads most likely to buy from you, and it's got my 20 years of sales and management experience built right into it. So today we're going to be talking a little bit more about step one of the lead generation process. And one of the things that I like to study is retailers. Specifically, I'm looking at electronic retailers and the Best Buy versus Amazon.com phenomenon. So Best Buy is really following what we call like an offline business model, and Amazon.com obviously is an online business model. Are you incorporating both? Because it's important as a home builder to be using both of these strategies to get more people in the door. See, housing is shifting from a brick and mortar business, or one that like Best Buy is operating on, and it's moving more to a virtual one. But however, we still need to have what we call like a non-virtual or offline sources of lead generation, and we need that to support our online lead generation strategies. So let's take a look at the different offline and online lead generation strategies. So here's offline lead generation strategies. There's 6 of them. These are ones that you probably are most familiar with. Now, model home or a project. And the reason I put or project on here is because if you're a remodeler, obviously you don't have a model home. If you are a scattered lot custom builder, you probably don't have a model home. You maybe don't even build inventory. That's okay though. You are building something. So whether you're remodeling a kitchen or if you're building like a pre-sold custom home, that's fine. We can still use that to generate leads. Now next is print, pretty self-explanatory. Then we have events, which we're going to talk more about in a future video. Realtors, geographic farming. That's farming a particular geographic area works pretty well for remodelers. Not so much for home builders, but we'll talk about how to incorporate that. And then last, but certainly not least, is referrals. Now, when it comes to online strategies, there's 2 of them. The first one I would call your virtual model home or showroom. And this would comprise your website, your blog, and social media. Now just for a second, imagine these things instead of thinking of like a static website or a blog where you probably aren't posting enough, or perhaps your social media where you're really still struggling to say, what's the point of doing all this? Imagine that as those 3 things are going to comprise a virtual marketplace. So you have what your sticks and bricks showroom looks like, or sticks and bricks model home. Well, now what we're doing is we're creating a virtual model home or showroom, and it's going to serve the same purpose as what you have been doing with your bricks and mortar model homes and showrooms, and that is it provides a place for people to get design ideas, to learn more about pricing, and finally to see the locations that you either build or remodel in. Those are the 3 primary things that people are looking for, either whether it's online or offline. Now the next strategy, or the last strategy as it relates to online leads, would be search engine marketing, and that's going to be comprised of paid advertising. So this could be pay-per-click ads such as Facebook or Google. Or it could be a banner ad you're purchasing on a website that has a lot of traffic and people are clicking on that banner to get through to your website. And then there's also what we call search engine optimization, which is more organic. So that's just raising your rankings organically when people search for the keyword terms that you want to be ranking for. So we're going to come back to an online strategy in a future video. Today we're going to focus on 2 offline programs that you probably have a lot of experience with: model homes or projects and print advertising. Now here's one thing to keep in mind as it relates to model homes. Typically model homes, the focus is signage. But if you don't have a model home, obviously if you build a custom project, whether it be remodeling or a pre-sold home, you're going to have a sign in the front yard. If you do have a model home and you also own lots, say in a neighborhood, you're going to have a neighborhood yard sign, and you might be employing what we call like a weekend bandit or sandwich signs to drive people to your open house or your model hours. Now, some things you need to consider with signage. I see most signs being done wrong today, and the reason is because the primary reason you want to use a sign is to drive people to your virtual marketplace. So you need to change the call to action on your signs from just having your website listed there or perhaps a phone number. You need to put a specific call to action on there, and I'll give you an example. Visit abcbuilders.com to view hundreds of floor plans. Now here's the idea. When people, whether they're searching online or offline, when they are researching for their builder or remodeler, they're primarily looking for design ideas. They don't know what they can build. They don't know what their kitchen could be remodeled to look like. So you need to be a relevant source of information. So that includes photos, your floor plans or design library, and your available homes. Where people can again walk through and look at pictures and or floor plans of those as well. Virtual tours would be another idea. So when it comes to advertising model hours, I recommend not doing it, and here's the thought behind that. If someone's going to go see their doctor, if they're going to see their attorney, their accountant, perhaps their dentist, they're going to make an appointment. They can't go in unless they make an appointment. You are a professional service provider. If people want to come see you, they should make an appointment. So an easy call to action to put on your sign where it says model hours is call for hours. And the same thing on your website, call for model hours. And so that way it gives people a reason to pick up the phone and call you, find out when you're open, and then you can again drill down a little bit deeper and find out if they're a good viable prospect for you. Finally, events. So events at model homes, I recommend that each model home should have one special event each month. Now, you don't have to have the event at the model home each time. So as an example, if you're building in a neighborhood, let's say you own 10, 15, 20, 100 lots, whatever it is. Every time you build a home and you close on that home, you can host a one-time open house prior to your client moving in. So that would be an event, would drive people maybe not directly to the model home, but get them in front of you. That's the idea. Is an event gets people in front of you. So the problem with regular open house or model hours is that there is no urgency. None. What events do is they give you urgency. And you don't have to go way overboard in events. We'll talk more about them in a future video. But one event per month creates urgency. And secondly, it helps me take all those online leads and it helps me convert them to on-site prospects. I got to have a reason to get someone off of the virtual world and into the non-virtual or the offline world. And an event is a great way to do that. Let's take a closer look at print. Print as regards to newspapers, magazines, other print publications, special events, that sort of thing. First of all, don't do it if you don't have a way to measure it. You're just wasting your money. You cannot do a print ad without measuring it, and we'll talk about that a little bit later here. Now, print should act just like a signage in that it should drive people to your website. So I see most builders running print ads that say, come to our model home, or maybe they just advertise that, hey, we build homes and here's our phone number and here's our website. You've got to give people a better reason than that to take action if they see a print ad. So again, you should be driving people to your website using the same strategies like finding out, say, a free lot report. Where are the locations you're building on your website? Looking at your photo gallery, hundreds of professionally taken photos, dozens of floor plans for you to look at, pricing information, available homes, or maybe for remodeling if it's a specific project so they can get an average cost information. That's the type of information that will get people to the website. Now, tracking return on investment when it comes to print. So if you do want to do print advertising, and print is not dead, it's still very viable in many markets. But the problem is most people don't do it correctly. So if you are going to advertise, there's two ways to track your return on investment. Number one is use a dynamic phone number for each individual print ad. That is, you have a unique number that when people call it, it tracks how many people called that number and you associate it with a specific ad. So if you run one ad and nobody calls, and you run another ad and 3 people call, well, you look at how that ad changed and maybe take some of those things you learned and incorporate that into future advertising. Or if you run numerous ads as a test in one publication and nobody calls, guess what? You quit wasting your money and don't advertise anymore. But you've at least tracked the return on investment. So number one is use a dynamic phone number. Number two is you would create a unique, what we call like a squeeze page or a landing page on your website. So this will be a unique page directly associated with your print ad. And you can use that as part of your overall web strategy or your virtual marketplace strategy. But what you'll do is you'll be able to measure the difference of people who went to that page when you advertised and when you didn't advertise. And on that page you also will have an opt-in or another call to action. So the example here would be, hey, visit our website to get our free lot report on available, home sites in the, blank geographic area. People go to your website, they land on that page, they read through what they're going to get, and they put their name and email in order to get the report. Now you compare that to a day you did not run a print ad, and then you'll know, did the ad give me a return on investment? And if it doesn't, either I stop advertising in print completely, or I change something up. Finally, branding. I see a lot of these sort of high-end, four-color glossy magazines, especially the custom high-end builders. It seems like every big marketplace has one of these. And when builders advertise in these, a lot of times I look through the ads and I can't tell the difference. I mean, all of them have beautiful pictures. All of them show that they are great builders, and they have neat logos, and they say cool things in their taglines, and it's all the same. And really, the magazine itself commoditizes each individual builder. There's no differentiation. So when it comes, and a lot of people guys say, well, this is a branding ad, I got to do this because it's my brand. Well, what you need to understand is that you do not have enough money in your budget to afford branding ads. You don't. So it doesn't matter where you're advertising. Every single ad needs to have a call to action, and it needs to be measured, period. Hey, that's it for today, guys. I appreciate you listening. Hopefully you got a few tips on lead generation, and we'll come back with our next video. We'll talk more about offline lead generation strategies. Happy selling.